was running a Snapdragon 430. You got about 43,000 Antutu score. It was a pretty fluid device. It did pretty well. But you step it up a little, and you take it to a Snapdragon 625. Again, running on a couple of devices, including our P2. Pretty good chip. And of course, you've already stepped it up from 43,000 to 63,000. Where do you go from here? There's a new chip in the market called the Helio P20. Right? It improves over the 625. And this is also, you can see that on certain devices that are already there in the market. But then none of these were, as we would probably put it, as killer enough for the killer Note. So we had to really kind of step it up all the way, right? So the K8 Note, like we said, we skipped a generation. Actually, we've doubled the performance from the K6 Note, right? It's a massive leap. It's something that is not really there in this particular segment. How does this happen, though? Right? I mean, this is an insane score that you actually get. How it happens is you've got 4 CPU cores that handle your basic tasks. And these run at a speed of about 1.4 gigahertz. But when you need a little more performance, there are another 4 that come in. And these are running at 1.85 gigahertz. And these are able to handle most of your performance tasks and the basic tasks. But there are times when you need that extra performance, when you need that killer performance. And for that, you've got 2 A72 cores running at 2.3 gigahertz. This completely changes the game. What you've got is a 10-core, 2.3 gigahertz chipset. It's called the Helio X23. I think this is the first device that will have this chip on it. And to go with this, of course, you've got fast performance, and to go and improve the multimedia chops, you will have up to 4 GB of RAM as well. So if I could summarize the performance part of it, you've got great hardware with enough RAM, and you've got stock Android. It is basically a killer combination. It just takes the overall performance to a next level. You get clean, fluid experience and the performance whenever you need it. It's pretty much unmatched in the industry right now. So killer cameras, killer performance. Let me talk about something that Lenovo's always been known for. Multimedia. Of course, here we can kind of step back. And multimedia, if I could kind of sum it up, it's a combination of 2 things. What you see and what you hear. So audio and visual. So of course, from an audio perspective, you want, our consumers have actually come to expect great 360-degree immersive sound from our perspective. All the K series devices, at least in the last year and a half, 2 years, have had Dolby Atmos, and so will this. And for those people who've not heard Dolby Atmos, this is not going to be the perfect demonstration, but a pretty good one. Can we have a video on Dolby Atmos, please?
This is Dolby Atmos, the world's first object-based cinematic audio. With powerful moving audio that transcends from channels to moving around you with pinpoint accuracy. Whether the soundscape sits the mood of a scene,
Come on, you guys, let's go.
or captures the full extent
Secret
of nature's fury.
This clip sounds better on the phone. You have to try it after that. So of course, music has been a key deal for the K series, and no difference for this one. But we decided to actually take it to the next step. The music was so good that we decided to give it a music key. There's a dedicated music key that you find on the phone, and basically without really switching on the device, you long press it, you can play music, long press it again, you can pause it, you can go forward, you can go back. So you get complete music controls with this music key as well. Again, it is a multimedia device. It is probably the best multimedia device that you can get. We had to kind of put all of this in. But for those people who are not really music fans, what does this key do then? Right? Well, actually anything. Right? So you can actually assign the key to maybe have it as your torchlight, or open the camera, take a screenshot, or actually any app. So I've got WhatsApp assigned to my music key because my boss keeps pinging me throughout the day. So that's the first thing I do. I just click on the music key and it's already there. It just kind of creates another shortcut. It gives you that physical control, and you get more options. Now that's from the music part of it. So you've got Dolby Atmos, and you've got a music key, and of course you've got great speakers and great audio experience. Then comes what you see. And what you see is basically you watch videos, and you play games, and you chat, and you read emails, and you surf. Everything happens on the screen, right? So from a screen perspective, also it's important to have the right screen. And what we've got is a full high definition 1920 by 1080p display. It is a bright display with a 178-degree viewing angle. Now this one is something that, from a Lenovo perspective, we cannot compromise because we need this wide viewing angles, because Lenovo has something that nobody else does, which is Theater Max. So again, a lot of people would have not really seen Theater Max yet. Theater Max is not VR. Right? Let me just clarify that. Yes, you can run VR apps on Theater Max, but the idea was to detach just certain set of apps that you can do and have this large experience and give consumers the control. What happens is when you put it in Theater Max mode, it does dual rendering of the same content, so one for the left eye, one for the right eye. And when you use a VR headset, any VR headset, what you get is a virtual large screen. Right? So it's almost like sitting in a movie hall or a theater, and hence Theater Max. I mean, if you're getting the drift there. From a math terms perspective, if you are sitting about 40 feet away from a screen, this virtual screen is about 100 feet wide. So it's that ratio that you get. And what can you do with it? Actually anything. Right? So you can play any video. You could be streaming a match, a cricket match or a football match. You can actually see it on that large screen. And as we demonstrated with the K8 Note, you can actually game on it. Right? So imagine gaming in that large screen experience, which is just phenomenal. So this is what you get with Theater Max. So from a multimedia perspective, amazing audio, great screen, and Theater Max capability. What do people do? Right? And this is something that people repeatedly came back and asked, saying, we want more storage then. Because we have so many movies, and we want to carry all our music libraries with us. So you've got 64 GB of storage. Of course, 64 GB is pretty good to carry most of your content there. But that's not the end of it. When we kind of asked consumers a bit more, they said, we want better storage. Right? And this better storage is a very interesting term, where you have to kind of really ask, what do you mean by a better storage? It's quite simple when you finally get to it. There was a particular element of storage that they said, we are willing to pay. We'll pay you if you get rid of this. Any guesses? Correct. It's a hybrid SIM slot. Right? Effectively, of the 3,000 odd people that we surveyed, pretty much zero came back saying that we like a concept of hybrid SIM slot. Right? And this is interesting, and this has actually changed drastically in the last 12 months. And this is happening because of the changing data scenario. And I'll talk about this. This is what, if you kind of go to YouTube and search for hybrid SIM, you see pages and pages of people trying to hack or create a hack which will basically have, how can we have two SIMs and a SD card running together? And the reason is, when you ask, almost 76% of the people are actually using two SIMs now. Right? This is because of new operators coming in, new data plans coming in. Also, interestingly, 76% of the people insist on using a micro SD card. And you see the problem there, right? So when you've got a hybrid SIM slot, these 76% of the people want to use both. They don't have an option. They try and create a hack like this. Chances are you'll either spoil your SIM card or actually end up blocking your SIM tray completely, which requires a kind of expensive trip to the service center. But this is a pain point, and people are willing to take a risk for it. Of course, we saw that, and we decided to go with a dedicated SIM slot. So you've USB OTG. Let's move on. Next one, killer selfies. Now, I kept this aside from the camera because people are actually asking for better selfie, better selfie experience is what they say. What does it mean, actually? I don't know if you guys would have seen this happen. People are taking a picture, but they're using the back camera of the phone. Right? Why? Because probably the front camera isn't good enough to take a great picture. Or this actually happens a lot more when the lighting conditions are poor. Because, of course, taking a picture in the dark, at least my back camera has a flash, so I can take a picture, right? The front camera, I'm not going to be able to see anything. Well, with the K8 Note, you again don't have to compromise. What you've got is, again, a 13 megapixel in the front, so a really good camera. It's again a f2.0 5-element lens. You've got a front flash, as you saw. So you've got the camera here and the flash up there, so you also got a front flash, so you don't have to compromise at night. It's got a beautify mode. It's a wide angle one, of course. And probably for the first time, it comes with a pro mode for the front camera as well. So the professional mode is not just limited to the back cameras, but the front camera also has a pro mode. So I guess if you are really enthusiastic about selfies, you can even get that kind of a control. So killer cameras, killer selfies, killer performance, both hardware and software, killer multimedia, and to cap it up, a few more things in terms of improving the overall experience. So if you guys remember in the first few slides, people complained, phone takes too long to charge. Well, what do you do about it? You give them a turbocharging option. So you've got a 15-watt turbocharger included in the box. Right? So we're not saying, okay, it's turbocharging capable, but you have to buy something separately. It's included in the box. Of course, it's an expensive charger, but then consumers are asking for it. And the killer Note series has always stood for something beyond what the consumers are expecting. Another part is Corning Gorilla Glass. So it's protected in the front, and you've got an oleophobic coating. So if you saw, again, one of the problems that people were talking about is my screen tends to smudge quite a bit. So that oleophobic coating actually helps repel your fingerprints to an extent. Of course, depends on the food you're eating. And while eating, if you're trying to type something, that this will not be able to handle. But it has a marked improvement in terms of the overall experience that you get. And how do we kind of get an overall better experience, especially for days like today, right? So you're out in the rain, and the last thing you have to be worried about is your phone. So with this, you don't really have to worry about the phone as well. So with the K8 Note, you have splash resistant. It's a P2I nano coating. Do not dunk this in water, but it can take a splash here and there. It can handle the rain. So there's a whole bunch of things that I spoke about, probably some things that I couldn't really cover, but let's probably, let's try and summarize this with a cool video. Can we get the video, please? Thank you. So it comes in two colors, fine gold, and as you saw in the video, this really awesome new Venom Black. Both of them, we actually had to change the metal material as well. So these are using the 5000 series of aluminum, largely because it also makes it a little harder, stronger, as well as less or more corrosive resistant. So you get a much better kind of finish. Of course, going with aluminum 5000 makes the device a little harder to kind of make as well. On an average, the manufacturing, just the back plate that you see here, for the fine gold takes about 30 minutes per device, and for the Venom Black it takes about 50 minutes per device. So there's a lot of details that go into this, and the manufacturing process also kind of gets really complicated. But of course, really awesome colors there. So if I could kind of sum it up, and let me see if I can kind of count these. 10-core SoC, 20 nanometer, 4 GB, 64, dedicated SD card slot, USB OTG, dual cameras, 30 megapixel selfie, bokeh, stock Android, and there's just too much. You get the idea. So that's the K8 Note in a nutshell. Let's go back to where we started. We had the K6 Note, right? So K6 Note had, let me just kind of compare both side by side. And we've got the K8 Note here. So from a display perspective, the display is brighter, and we've actually added Corning Gorilla Glass to it. So it's more protected, more scratch resistant. From a CPU perspective, we more than doubled the performance levels. So a lot more powerful. Again, 4 GB of RAM. We have up to 64 GB, and what we did was we swapped out the hybrid SIM slot and got a separate dedicated expandable SIM slot, SD card slot, I'm sorry. The front camera is now a 13, and it comes with a party flash. So you've got that. The rear camera is actually a dual camera setup for those amazing portrait shots now. And from a battery perspective, it's a 4000. Now we've added a turbocharger to it. Some indicative prices. If you remember, we launched K6 Note last year. The 332 was at 13,999, and the 432 was at 15,499. So for the price of the K8 Note, if I can probably have Sudhin come back on stage. Can we get the mic?
Right, so this is where I left you and this is where I come back. Right? Fantastic, isn't it? I mean, amazing stuff. And now you know why we skipped the 7. This is the true K8. Of course, a killer product needs to have a killer price as well. So maybe
I forgot one more thing actually.
Sorry. Oh yeah, the latest one. Right?
Stock and
so, right. Any guesses? So in 2 variants, 332 and 464. The first sale starts on 18th of August at 12 noon. So which is roughly about 10 days from now.
It's about 10 days.
Today is 9th of August, so about 9 days. So 2 variants, 2 different color. Anuj, the price, please. So the 332 variant is 12,999 and the 464 variant at 13,999. Available first sale, 18th August. It is an Amazon exclusive product. And there are some launch offers as well that goes along with it. There are some exciting offers that Amazon is providing along with the price, of course, that you see. There is an 80% off on the ebook, which is roughly up to, if you're a reader and if you buy some ebooks from there, you'll get some discounts. Of course, 4G data consumption, this is what it's all about. So there are some launch offers from Idea Cellular, who are partners for us in this. There is a 64 GB flat data and unlimited call for 56 days at rupees 343 if you buy along with the phone. Of course, the sports headphone, I like the Theater Max and the music aspect of as well. So any consumer who is wanting to buy the phone can also avail of the headphone offer. So killer price with killer offers, with a killer partner along with us, which is Amazon. At this stage, I'd just like to invite Manish Tiwari, who's the Vice President of Amazon, who's here with us today to say a few words about this partnership and the product. Manish.
Thanks, Sudhin. Thanks, Anuj. Good afternoon, everyone. I must admit, as we speak right now, we probably sell around 140 million different kinds of products on Amazon.in. And I don't get impressed very easily. We sell millions and millions of phones. But as I heard Anuj take us through the products, I kept on thinking, wow, addresses almost every customer need we get feedback on from millions of customers. And Amazon has always taken pride in addressing the needs of customers. We keep on talking about being customer obsessed. And this is a killer, without doubt, because it takes care of what customers want, whether it's entertainment, whether it's battery, whether it's form finish. So awesome. I think, Anuj, Sudhin, this truly is going to be one of the super killers in this market. Amazon is very proud to be an exclusive partner for K8. And this goes back to 2015. We've been part and parcel of every Note launch which has happened from Lenovo, and all of them have been blockbusters. So congratulations to everyone in the Lenovo team, and we look forward to all the excitement we can create once the sale starts 9 to 10 days from now. So thank you, Sudhin. Thank you, Anuj, for having us as a partner for this awesome launch. And we look forward to unveiling it to the customers so that they can lay their hands on this as quickly as possible. So thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much, Manish. So 18th August, 12 noon, first sale. That's the date. 2 variants starting 12,999 and 13,999, 2 different color. Right, so thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for all our viewers watching us live on Facebook as well as on YouTube. This is the moment to take some pictures for our friends who are here. So we will do that. Thank you so much for being here. There is a live display of products here. Please do take your time off to experience them. Thank you so much and very good afternoon. Right.